Yeah. And as you bring a sense of welcoming, perhaps also welcoming everybody here, welcoming our community, and starting by noticing the quality of your heart right now. What is the quality of your heart? I see some waves. Yeah. How does your heart feel? And there's no particular way of how you need to feel right now. We're just checking in and being with whatever is here. And that's part of our practice, isn't it? To just be with what's here. Nothing to do, nothing to change. And so maybe I should take another deeper than normal breath. Just getting acquainted with this body. Noticing what the face is conveying right now. Noticing how all the hellos in the chat are landing for you. Yeah. So just giving a little bit of space to just arrive. Our theme for today is going to be playfulness. And so we'll be talking about that and we'll be reflecting on what is it like when we actually encounter playfulness in our life, or how do we even draw from that in our regular life. And so, yeah, you're already noticing your breath, and that's perfect. If you're noticing where the breath is moving in your body, that's also great. That's what we're doing, just meeting ourselves here. Perhaps you can sense how the breath travels in the body, the sensation of the breath coming in, leaving the body. This is always an anchoring point. This is a place that we can come to. John Kabat-Zinn likes to say, if you're breathing, then there's more right with you than wrong. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And so you're here, you're breathing. Even if the breath is really faint, even if there might be stories about how the breath is flowing, you're breathing, you're here. And so as you sense the breath in the body, just noticing the rest of the body here. What are some sensations that are happening here? Maybe stemming from the breath, maybe sensations that were already there. Maybe the settling into the surface is holding you. How is that settling going? Is there anything getting on the way of the surface holding you in this body? Are you allowing for that support? Is it okay for you to be supported? Is there anything that needs to soften in order to feel supported by the surface? So just noticing if there's tightness or tension. And a sense of allowing for this body to be just as it is, to let go, to let be. Maybe there's a lot of thinking in the mind still, and that's okay. Maybe you can turn towards those thoughts, the thinking process of the mind, the thinking mind. And instead of getting carried away, just paying attention to them. What are they about? What are they doing for you right now? Maybe reminders, maybe to-do lists. How can you meet them with kindness? And just let them know that you notice them. And then coming back to just allowing this body to settle. And again, noticing if it's not settling. Maybe the breath is going really fast, maybe really slow. Maybe there's sleepiness here. So again, just noticing that, meeting them, greeting all these things. As Rumi says, the poet Rumi, welcome and greet all that's come here. For they might be carrying a message from beyond. Invite them in. And so how we do this in our practice is to just notice what's here. Without an agenda of what things need to be. You might need to look at this moment without any judgment. Allow, and the current will bring you back to shore. There is no use on fighting the current. The intention is always to come back to being with this body, this breath. So these thoughts that might be happening are part of your experience, so there's no denying them. Poet once said, try corralling a lightning bolt and it will find its way. So there's no corralling, there's just being here. There's an acknowledgement of your experience, and that's it. There's a welcoming. So in the next moments, in the next few minutes, I'm just gonna kind of stay quiet with you while you notice your experience. And every time you notice getting carried away by the thoughts, the stories, instead of just noticing them, you find yourself taken by the current. See if you can just allow yourself to just float again. Come back to the breath, noticing this body. Always coming back to that sense of letting go, letting be. And every time you notice the mind wandering, getting carried away, taken by the current, really gently, as if you were just allowing yourself to float in the water, you can come right back to noticing this breath, this body, sensing, coming back to the bottom of your feet, the surface, supporting you, those areas of contact. You're noticing that there's a lot of thoughts, and some thoughts might be more stubborn than others. They can just be in the background too. So bringing your attention to your breathing or this body and noticing the thoughts just playing in the background, kind of like a commentator radio, but allowing your attention to land right here in this moment, in this breath, in this body, noticing tension or tightness. Sometimes that's what accompanies some of these thoughts. And so just noticing your experience with kindness, with tenderness, becoming a supportive, non-judgmental friend to yourself right now. Bringing a sense of beginner's mind to your experience. What happens when you let go of the need to fight the current, let go of the need to make things different than what they are. And instead, you just allow. What happens in your body when you bring in this allowing, this sense of beginner's mind, kind curiosity. So witnessing the ever-changing motion of your experience right now. Noticing what happens during the pause. If the mind is really busy, it's more important to notice your reaction to it than the busyness. Can you just attend to it kindly? And then escorting your attention right back to this body, to this breath, this moment. Knowing that at any time, in whatever moment, you can always take a deeper than normal breath. Come back. The mind can tell stories, the mind can drift. But your attention can always be steered right back to this moment, this body, this breath. And now I'm going to invite you to open up this attention, to just open up this awareness, this loving awareness to hold any sounds around where you are. Maybe the sounds on the streets or in the place you are right now. And instead of looking for any sounds, see what comes to you naturally. What makes contact with your awareness? And on the next breath, I'm going to invite you to perhaps reflect on a time that you remember. Maybe with someone that brings this in you. Maybe it's an event where playfulness took place, where you could just let go of the agenda, let go of the outcome, and you just played. This could be a moment of dancing freely. This could be a moment of playing with somebody, a pet, child, or by yourself, playing around, finding amusement and simplicity. And just being with the game. Now notice what resulted of this playfulness. Notice your body, your breath, your face. Maybe this playfulness came as words, exchange words with someone that was just, it caused you to laugh, that caused you to be engaged in just that moment. So there is a poem by William Blake called Laughing Song. And it says, when the green woods laugh with a voice of joy, and the dimpling stream runs laughing by, when the air does laugh with our merry wit, and the green hill laughs with the noise of it, when the meadows laugh with lively green, and the grasshopper laughs in the merry scene, when Mary and Susan and Emily with their sweet round mouths sing, ha 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 hey, when the painted birds laugh in the shade, where our table with cherries and nuts is spread, come live and be merry, and join with me to sing the sweet chorus of ha 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 hey. So whenever you're ready at your own pace, you can just bring your attention to this face. Notice what your face is conveying. Notice if there's any tightness. And seeing if you can let go. There's nothing to portray, but just be here right now. And then really gently, whenever you're ready, you can start opening your eyes if they're closed. Noticing your environment. Is there anything in your environment right now that inspires playfulness? Take a look around and see if there's anything that inspires playfulness. And maybe something that you didn't know could inspire playfulness will rise up as something that might inspire playfulness. And if not, then notice if this is something that you can bring to your life. And so just at your own pace, you can come back to the screen when you're ready. Notice everyone here. So this theme of playfulness often comes about for me because I sometimes find myself really serious. I don't know about you. And so it's something that I draw from a lot. And in mindfulness performance, we work a lot with playfulness. And it's often said that playfulness could be one other attitudinal foundation in mindfulness and performance. So when I work in sports, work with teams, how we actually bring this playfulness is by allowing this playful attitude to grow in the team, in the players. And what we notice is that when that happens, they kind of let go of the agenda and they're just playing the game for the sake of playing. And so they let go of the pressure, they let go of the outcome, they let go of everything, and they're just one with the game. And so this is why I thought it was interesting to bring that today to this group, and it's something I shared in another group this week as well. So this attitude of playfulness, what can it bring for you? How are your days usually, and how can you really bring a little more playfulness and notice how is your life when you come from this place of being playful? And I want to make a difference between playfulness and sometimes humor as a coping mechanism, or even playfulness as a coping mechanism. They're two different things. So one thing is, for instance, to make humor of something that is very sad or hard to handle. And another thing is to just tap into this playfulness regularly without an agenda. So sometimes when something is really hard, we might feel like making a joke. And so the idea is to really notice where we're coming from when we use playfulness. To see if this is just a little segue, making a joke because something is too much, or because I can't stand maybe the room being so sad or so heavy or whatever it is. And in that case, that's not really being playful, that's more of a coping mechanism. But playfulness is something that just emerges. Yeah, we can cultivate it more, but it emerges in us naturally. Stepping into that inner child kind of behavior of being at awe with life. So I was reading this article as I was preparing to share in this other group, and I got this article from the National Library of Medicine, and it says that a central component of human sociability is our innate ability to play and be playful. It says that as children and adults, as individuals, families, and communities, this is a much needed part of our being. So it's part of socializing, and it calls on the attention of how what we call having fun or happiness or joy comes to us when we let ourselves connect with something larger, family, community. And so playfulness could be this way that we do this, that we make these connections. I used to have this uncle when I was growing up, and he always made jokes, but not as a coping mechanism. It was just anything he would see, he would just make us laugh all the time. And it's interesting because I remember that about him. So these things can probably really bring on something in us that connect as well, right? And so he used this for connection quite a bit. And we were kids, so, adults and kids, and, they don't really connect very well sometimes. So this playfulness was a way of connecting. And in my years of working with children, playfulness is always a way of connecting. And so in our own lives, how do we bring this playfulness to our life? Sometimes it's hard to feel connected. Sometimes we don't know how to connect with others. And so this ability that we all have, all human beings have to play, could be a way of finding more connection, more community as well, right? And so I just wanted to share that, kind of leave you with that, and see how that lands for you. As I always say, not everything I share has to make sense. If you're sitting here and thinking like, I don't know how to play, I can't even remember, that's okay too. Maybe you can just notice that and just see what that part needs. that merging part that says, I don't know, I can't really do this, you know? And maybe you can invite that voice to play a little bit and see how that might be. So, yeah, so I wanted to leave you with that. Take what you need, disregard what you don't. You don't have to believe everything I say or follow everything I say. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much for being here with me, for practicing, for meeting me every Friday. So thank you. Thank you for all the love you bring, all the acceptance you bring,